Boosie, your boy don't know how to fight. Neither do that T.I. little yellow motherfucker, long hair.
I ain't really got no opinion on him, because, my opinion can send me to prison.
You slap Kanye West, that's where he was wrong at, homie.
Yeah.
Why slap him for what, nigga? When you had a 15-year-old hitman, nigga, that murdered black people.
The tension between Boosie and Charleston White didn't just appear out of thin air. This was a collision years in the making, a storm slowly brewing.
Nobody talk to him. Why do Boosie get all the love? As if he the killer. Mm-hmm. And Boosie ain't no mother killer. You can slap Boosie and that bitch don't do nothing. Mm-hmm. You can slap Lil Boosie, that bitch don't do nothing. Lil Marlo was the killer. Lil Boosie ain't had a fight with nobody. That you punch him in the nose, that bleed to death because he a diabetic. You can't give him no black eye. He'll die. He'll diabetic.
Fueled by pride, ego, and the need to dominate the spotlight. You could feel it bubbling under the surface every time one of them spoke. Both men too outspoken, too unfiltered, too...
Boosie, your boy don't know how to fight. Neither do that T.I. little yellow motherfucker, long hair freak. That little motherfucker don't know how to fight either. Get them y'all baby just rapping.
Real for peace to ever last long. And when it finally exploded, the internet did exactly what it always does. It pulled up a chair, grabbed some popcorn, and watched the chaos unfold in real time. Charleston built his whole...
The jail is gonna be for something. It's gonna be for something. I don't play no police game, man. Just know as you move around, man, life is real, bro. This shit ain't no motherfucking joke. This shit ain't no motherfucking game. Just don't play with me and don't play with mine. Leave my motherfucking children out your motherfucking face, boy.
Ran on picking fights, talking wild, and daring folks to clap back. That's literally his playbook. He finds a target, clowns him publicly, then feeds off every reaction like it's fuel. Call-outs, hot takes, and brutal roasts. That's what keeps him trending. He knows controversy equals clicks, and he leans into it every single time. So when someone finally pushed back, the whole thing blew up exactly how he planned. Charleston had already come for rappers, activists, even athletes. Nobody was off limits. But the moment he dragged Boosie's name into his circus, he crossed a line he couldn't uncross. Boosie isn't the type to stay quiet when someone comes for his people, especially his family. He's built his whole reputation on loyalty and standing 10 toes down for his own. So when Charleston started throwing shots his way, Boosie didn't just take offense. He took it personal. At first, Charleston kept it light, or at least as light as Charleston White ever does. He tossed jokes about Boosie being washed up, poked at his career, and tried to play it off as harmless trolling. Then, in classic Charleston fashion, he crossed the line, bragging on camera about getting Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, arrested. That's when the temperature changed. Boosie didn't laugh, didn't argue, didn't even play into the chaos. He just said it plain, "I don't mess with Charleston White. That name's a threat to my success." And when Boosie said that, you could feel the whole internet go silent. He wasn't scared. He was serious. But Charleston isn't satisfied until he finds a soft spot, the pressure point that makes the internet gasp. And when he aimed his words at Boosie's son, that was it. That was a line in the sand. Everyone watching knew this wasn't trolling anymore. This was disrespect on a whole new level. Boosie didn't explode online or feed the fire. He moved quiet, calculating. But the more Charleston doubled down, the more he threw Tootie's name around, the heavier the tension got. Finally, Boosie stepped up with a warning that didn't need to be shouted, just felt, "Don't ever come for my kids. Don't drag my family into your circus." That clip hit different. The internet blew up, reposts, duets, reactions everywhere. Half the comments said Boosie handled it like a real father, standing on principle. The other half worried Charleston was baiting him, setting a trap to get him caught up. But no matter what side people were on, everybody agreed. Charleston had gone too far. He wasn't just playing games with rappers anymore. He was poking at legacies, families, and bloodlines. And the crazy part? It all started with one moment. Kanye West's White Lives Matter shirt. When Kanye stepped out wearing that shirt, the culture split right down the middle. Some defended him. Others condemned him. But one thing for sure, everyone had something to say. Boosie was one of the loudest voices calling Kanye out for disrespecting the black community. And that's when Charleston saw his opportunity. Instead of backing Boosie, he flipped the script. He mocked him for speaking up, called him a hypocrite, and accused him of clout chasing. That's where the feud really caught fire, and Charleston made sure to keep feeding it. Every time Kanye made headlines, Charleston dragged Boosie's name right back into the mess. And once he saw the clicks rolling in, he went full throttle, turning Boosie into his favorite target. Then, like a vulture circling fresh meat, he widened the scope and set his sights on another rap legacy kid, King Harris, T.I.'s son. He called King spoiled fake soft, laughed at his looks, his style, and even predicted he'd end up in jail. That wasn't comedy. That was straight disrespect. King wasn't having it. He jumped online and fired back, letting Charleston know if they ever met face-to-face. It was up that's when things exploded. Because just like Boosie, T.I. wasn't about to sit back while a grown man disrespected his son. Tip stepped in, making it clear Charleston had crossed another sacred line. He told the world nobody would play with his child's name. Not online, not anywhere. And suddenly, this wasn't just Charleston trolling. This was two rap legends, two fathers, both furious, both standing on family. Their sons were clapping back. The blogs were going crazy, and Charleston was right in the middle, grinning like the puppet master. Every clip went viral. Every quote turned into a headline. And the internet couldn't look away at T.O. fans. It looked like a slow-motion car crash. Messy, raw, but impossible to turn off. But under all that noise was the real truth. This wasn't about clout anymore. This was about respect, fatherhood, and what happens when you cross a line that can't be uncrossed. Charleston thought he was untouchable, hiding behind his call to cops' defense, taunting rappers to react, then laughing when they didn't. But this time, it wasn't entertainment. This was a test of what men like Boosie and T.I. stand for. And when Boosie looked dead in that camera and said, "Don't talk about my kids," the culture felt it. That moment cut deeper than hip-hop. It was about manhood, about loyalty. And when T.I. stepped up for King, it wasn't for the cameras. It was instinct, a father protecting his blood. Those clips spread like wildfire because people understood it. Some things you just don't play with. But Charleston kept laughing, kept poking, kept hiding behind the internet. He knew if Boosie or T.I. ever reacted in real life, he'd just play the victim. That's his whole game. Still, one thing remains true. When you come for a man's kids, you stop chasing views and start gambling with honor. And honor is something Boosie and T.I. don't play about. That's why this story hit different. Because it's not just another rap beef. It's fathers versus a troll, legacies versus disrespect, the culture versus chaos. Charleston might have gone viral, but Boosie and T.I. reminded the world what real respect still looks like. And no matter how much Charleston laughs deep down, he knows he lit a fire he can't control. The internet is completely split watching this unfold. Some say Charleston's just chasing clout, nothing more. Others believe he's crossed a sacred line, one no man should ever cross. The debates online show how big this story really got. People weren't just talking about Charleston's words. They were talking about what it means to be a father, what it means to stand up for family, and whether Charleston's brand of trolling is even safe anymore. Because let's be real, Charleston's whole strategy relies on one idea, that the internet is just talk. But Boosie and T.I., they come from places where talk can turn into action real quick. And then there's the sons, Tootie Raw and King Harris. They're not just side characters in this saga. They've been clapping back, too. King especially. He's been willing to face Charleston head-on, taking the heat and matching energy with energy. That move alone made the internet explode. Some people respected him for standing tall. Others thought he was feeding Charleston exactly what he wanted. Either way, King's response put him in the spotlight like never before. What makes this story so wild is the layers. Hip-hop beef, family pride, trolling generational clashes, and even Kanye's shadow hanging over it all. Every layer adds fuel, making the fire burn hotter. Charleston laughs it off, but everyone can feel it. The vibe has shifted. This isn't playful trolling anymore. It's dangerous disrespect. And the culture knows it. Boosie and T.I. aren't men you play with lightly, especially not when their kids are involved. And as this keeps unfolding, the question isn't whether Charleston will keep talking. It's whether somebody finally decides enough is enough, the drama snowballed. The whole culture sat glued to their screens. Charleston kept laughing, throwing insults, doubling down like a man with nothing to lose. He bragged that rappers couldn't touch him without catching cases. And that only made him bolder. He dared Boosie. He dared T.I. He dared anybody to react. It was a dangerous game of bait and switch, and Charleston thrived in it. But to everyone else, it wasn't entertainment anymore. It was a powder keg waiting to blow that Boosie's silence turned into something people recognized instantly. Warning. After Charleston dragged Tootie Ross' name one time too many, Boosie finally spoke. And the weight in his voice said it all. This isn't rap beef. This isn't clout chasing. This is me as a father. Don't talk about my kids. Simple, clear, and powerful enough to make the internet pause. That moment reminded everyone, no matter how wild things get online, family is a line you don't cross. You can diss Boosie's music or his money, but once you bring a son into it, you stepped into dangerous territory. T.I. made that same point crystal clear when he stood up for King Harris. He didn't mince words. He wasn't protecting King's image. He was protecting his son. That earned him respect, because when it comes to family, these rappers are fathers first, entertainers second. And when fathers put that armor on, lines get drawn and consequences follow. That's why Charleston's antics stopped being funny. He wasn't just trolling. He was poking at pride, honor, and fatherhood, three things you never play with. Meanwhile, the sons kept the fire going. King Harris went live, calling Charleston out face to face. That clip went viral instantly. Some said he was reckless. Others said he was fearless. Either way, he made the world pay attention. Tootie Ross stayed quiet, but his silence was exactly why Boosie finally drew that line. Both sons became symbols of how deep the disrespect had gone. But here's the truth. Attention has limits. When you keep crossing family lines, the energy changes. At first people laughed. Then they got uncomfortable. Now they're asking, how long before this turns into something real? Because in the streets, when you disrespect a man's family, words don't stay words forever. Charleston might claim he's safe, but Boosie and T.I. made it clear. This isn't a game. And fans can already feel the countdown ticking. Every new live stream, every new insult. It's like watching a fuse burn lower and lower. The culture knows this isn't clout anymore. It's a ticking clock. From Kanye's shirt to Boosie's criticism, from Charleston's mockery to dragging two rap families into chaos. It's been one chain reaction of disrespect. And that's why this story won't fade. Too many lines have been crossed. Too much pride is on the line. Too much family honor is at stake. At the end of the day, this isn't a story about Charleston white trolling rappers. It's a story about what happens when internet games collide with real-world codes of respect. Because no matter how big social media gets, some rules never change. Family comes first. Honor matters. And there are lines you don't cross. Boosie made that clear. T.I. made that clear. And now, the whole world is waiting to see if Charleston finally learns that lesson the hard way.